Just call Just call Just call
RICMOTECH high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
Last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the first round of the knockout playoffs produced one hell of a race. Tonight we come to a newly rescanned and resurfaced Watkins Glen International for round number 2 of the playoffs, round number 12 of the season, and the first knockout race of the playoffs. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. Alongside me is my broadcast partner tonight, Angel. Angel, a great race last week. You called us all the way. Just an unbelievable wild finish with the top 5 all in with a shot to win.
Man, that's that's an understatement, really. It was so dang good. I mean, and we know how Atlanta can be. We've heard DW say it, or we're going to get one of those fantastic Atlanta finishes, and that's exactly what we got, and it should be expected from the RICMOTECH high-performance truck series. These drivers are honestly some of the best out there. They make for some fantastic racing, and Atlanta really did not fall short. I mean, we had our 2 championship leaders, banging doors coming off the turn, and we almost had somebody stun the world and win that race. Actually would have put off his second win of the season, but we had a couple of guys like Bryce Senesac, be able to squeeze in there for a couple extra bonus points, putting him up there in the top 4 for tonight's race and standings-wise.
Yeah, and just think, NASCAR absolutely ruined it with the repave that they're doing. That should be coming out, I'm sure, for season 2. Which it's amazing to think that we're already through iRacing 2022 season 1, already more than halfway through it. But getting back to tonight, this is the first race where drivers are actually going to get knocked out of playoff contention. Guys that are right now on the bubble, you're looking at John Sterling, who holds that position, Mike Franklin, Alan Hilton, Ed Morris, and Chris Akers, all on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and this is just one of those tracks that's really going to make or break some of these guys' seasons, which is why it's at this point in the playoffs. It can be fast and ovals, but, road courses are a whole nother story, and trying to really get through a race like this with not a lot of drivers is, you can probably make it through, but you're going to need to gain every spot you possibly can. There's not many positions to earn tonight.
And speaking of, just trying to get in and race your way in, one guy who has a lot of practice as far as road racing in stock cars goes, that would be the man who qualified 3rd here tonight, Ed Morris. Raced and finished 2nd last night in the Maestro's ARCA series at the Roval. So he just came off of 40 laps of road racing one of these big, heavy stock cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have that experience, but oh boy, can it be difficult sometimes. I mean, it doesn't matter what track it is. We love road racing and all, but man, Oh, it's going to be tough for him. I mean, he's going to probably be at least feeling a little tired after that one.
It can be a little bit of a challenge. We'll get to the grid here in just a moment as the warm-up session / drivers meeting is coming to a close. Nicholas Vroman, by virtue of the win last week, has locked himself into the next round. James Holzer not that far behind him as far as winning the round on points. Michael Thwaites, who pulled out a big second-place finish last week, and Bryce Senizak, who finished third, both tied for third at 1,047 points. Those guys are pretty safely in. Mike Rominger, who is here tonight, Jeremy Clifton, who is here tonight, Jordan McGraw, who's here as well. Those guys are going to be really, really close. They're in, but they're not quite safe.
Yeah, and feeling safe is something you want, especially trying to come to a track that many of these drivers maybe, don't have a lot of experience in. I'm an oval guy. I don't have a ton of experience in road courses either. So, I mean, it can be daunting and really trying to hope, just to make it through the race without any issues.
It absolutely could be. As we'll take a look now at the grid here for tonight's race. Starting on the pole with a 1-minute 12.418 second lap time will be the number 95 of Nicholas Vroman, the man who took the race win last week, has taken the last couple of race wins. He has James Holzer lining up to the outside of, to be the left side of him here. Ed Morris and Bryce Senizak will make up row number 2 with John Sterling and Jordan McGraw. In row number 3, in row 4, you'll see Chris Akers and Christian DeBoer, David Elliott and Jeremy Clifton in row number 5.
Row number 6, rolling off Alan Hilton, and as you previously mentioned, Michael Thwaites having a fantastic run last week, looking to try to push his way through the playoffs. He'll be starting off in that outside of row number 6. Row 7 belongs to Mike Rominger, who was also part of that fantastic finish last week, along with Wallace Boyce. And then rounding out your field in that 8th row is going to be Rob Griffin and Mike Franklin. So, you got a couple guys who didn't get an opportunity, who didn't put down a qualifying lap. Maybe just deciding, maybe it's best for me just to hold off before we get there. But I mean, no surprise, this number 95 and number 99 are up front in today's race.
Absolutely. Wallace Boyce, Rob Griffin, and Mike Franklin, the ones that did not take qualifying time, they will start by virtue of their I rating. Now, Ed Morris is not the only driver who did compete last night in the Maestros ARCA Series race at the Charlotte Roval. David Elliott did as well. He did not have nearly as successful a night as Ed Morris did, wrecking out on lap 11. So a little bit of experience. The Charlotte Roval is a lot more difficult of a racetrack to get around than Watkins Glen.
I know you say that, but we were just talking about before this race started how this is a rescan, and you mentioned it at the start of the broadcast. This is a rescan. I don't know how many of these drivers have experience on this track. I personally, as I mentioned with you, I don't have any experience on the rescan, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of practice some of these guys got done as we're seeing them roll through the backstretch there, getting ready to hit that the bus stop. I mean, you're going to see a lot of speed through these trucks as well. These trucks are fast, especially on a track like this where Watkins Glen is just one of those super speedway road courses. It almost feels like there's so many opportunities to get to such high speeds, but that only means that there's more of an opportunity to lock it up or, really ruin your race, especially with no fast repairs. And I don't believe we got cautions on tonight, do we?
No, we do not. And as our broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, always says, this is one big oval, just with all right turns and one left. Looking at the weather here really quick as we head out of the carousel, 75-degree ambient temperature, 100-degree track temperature with a southeasterly wind gusting between 5 and 10 miles an hour. That's going to wreak a lot of havoc, and especially on a hot racetrack. These things do not like a hot racetrack.
No, it's just going to be melting these tires, and they're going to be slipping and sliding everywhere, which is really just going to make it even more fun for us here in the booth and all those watching with us. So we appreciate those who came on and ready to watch what's going to be, I believe, an exciting road course race. Nicholas Vroman, he did win at Pocono earlier this year. And, sometimes they mention how Pocono is really a track that benefits those road racers. So we'll have to see if that continues today. Can he get win number 6? Does James Holzer tie him up with win number 5, or do we have somebody in the field waiting to get their first victory of the season, or a couple of these guys looking to maybe get victory number 2?
And for Nicholas Vroman, the last 5 times he's been on the racetrack, he has taken victory. Pace car is off. 45 laps here from Watkins Glen International. We're green.
Green flag racing. Nicholas Vroman with a fantastic start. He's going to jump to the outside right in front of Holzer, but Holzer's going to get a little loose trying to get on the brakes there. We almost had contact with our championship leaders as Ed Morris is looking on behind him.
Yep, that was a big, aggressive move there from Nicholas Vroman, trying to take the best line that he possibly could. Going into the corner, Chris Akers in the 1, now battling side by side up the hill with David Elliott. Akers able to take that position, but that opens the door now for Alan Hilton to try to make a move on that number 4 as we head into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, it's so tough to really be side by side in too many parts of this racetrack. I mean, there's so many areas where you want to hit your lines perfect, and hitting your lines perfect means you're not going to be side by side. But here comes Chris Akers under Christian DeBauer looking for that 7th position. Akers had a bad race last week where his steering wheel disconnected from him, and he just drove right hard into the wall. So he's got he's got a lot of points to make up for himself here, and we see him already moving up into that 7th position, or back into that 7th position after that start of the race.
Got some Gorilla Glue, I'm sure, on that steering wheel this week as Christian DeBoer falls down to the 8th position. Top 9 fall suit as to where they started. After that, Alan Hilton's +1. He's gotten around Jeremy Clifton in the 51. Mike Franklin is +2. Wallace Boyce right now coming into pit road here on the very first lap of this race.
Could be somebody who decided to maybe start and park was his best decision for tonight's race, maybe not trying to affect anybody else in the championship. And, I say, in my opinion, you always got to be appreciative of your playoff drivers, but I am more appreciative as a league owner now of those drivers who are not in the playoffs and are still showing up week in and week out. Those are the guys you really want a part of your league because they're dedicated, even if they have not much to run for at that point in time.
Christian DeBoer goes way wide in the carousel. That opens up the 8th position for David Elliott to work his way through. And once again, we've got these guys that are racing for a spot in the next round of the playoffs. Chris Akers, we talked about him. He's moving up, trying to get a spot. David Elliott not in the playoffs, nor is Christian DeBoer. You can denote playoff cars from non-playoff cars with the blue splitter on the front of these cars and the blue rear spoiler. That will let you know who is in the playoffs and who is not. We'll take a look also. Bryce Senizak in that 4th position, slowly hunting down Ed Morris. He's been a little bit quicker these last couple of laps. Senizak, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to say, as they do come through this bus stop right here, you're right. He is starting to kind of track down Ed Morris. Bryce Senizak, actually, we were talking about it earlier, remember, he's got the highest road I rating, of any driver in this field. So I would definitely look for him to maybe make up some spots. He's got himself in a pretty good spot in the championship. I think last week was a perfect opportunity for him. Oh, as you see, I think that's Alan Hilton all the way out on track there off of the carousel.
You're right, that was Alan Hilton. Double drop Alan Hilton down to the 11th position. As boy, Nicholas Vroman continues to set fast laps. Set a 1:12.96 the lap before crossing the line this time, and this time he set a 1:12.98. Just 2/100ths of a second off. That 95 has this place nailed down at the moment.
And James Holzer himself, actually, both his laps they're within 1/100th of a second of each other. So these two leaders consistent to start this race, and that's something that's very important on a road course is consistency. You're not going to win it on any one of these first couple laps, but boy, can you lose it at any point in time, and it'll really cost you in that sense.
I had the pleasure of racing against James Holzer. I don't know if he recognized that I was in the room, but I had the pleasure of racing against James Holzer this week at New Hampshire in a C fixed. I used to think I was pretty good, and after he walked the dog on me, I started to change my opinion of myself.
Yeah, a couple drivers will really do that to you. I've experienced that a couple of times with some drivers that I broadcast for. It really makes you think, like, oh my goodness, it's like, I thought I had something, but man, these guys just make me look like nothing. I feel like I just need to put away the steering wheel and keep the microphone over here.
I still do have the distinction of being the only ESPN broadcaster to actually win an ESPN broadcasted race. That was so I do have that.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to challenge that on Friday nights in my league. I'm gonna have to go out there and really win now. Forget about it being my league. I just gotta go out there and win just so I can get up into that category with you.
Road America.
Oh no, I couldn't do
Road
it.
America and the Cup cars.
We're at Chicagoland this week. That'll be fun, I think.
Yeah, I've had a lot of success at Chicagoland, none on camera, but
I've had success at Kansas, and it's close enough.
yeah, fair enough. As we see Senizak running a little bit wide coming out of the carousel, still trying to hunt down Ed Morris.
Oh, Chris Akers is losing it. Oh, massive contact. Oh, and it's over.
Yep, that was it. Boy, that was a hard hit for Chris Akers coming out of the carousel and just lost it on exit. And that was, boy, it was the early 2010s where there were a couple of hard crashes coming out of that corner.
In that same exact spot, you're right.
Yep.
Oof. An immediate tow for Chris Akers.
I think it was Jeff Burton that had a big one there along that wall. Sam Hornish Jr. as well.
Jeff Gordon, I would know. I was a Jeff Gordon fan to see that.
Oh,
that one hurt. I remember it, though.
As look a little bit further back, Michael Thwaites in the number 12. Battling with Alan Hilton. Closest battle on track right now. These two within a half a second of each other. Mike Rominger not that far behind. About a second and a half behind the 12. And Rominger did not qualify, which is why he is as far back as he is.
You know, it's going to be important for Michael Thwaites to really have a successful night. He's got to get up there and gain some spots. We saw that he was honestly, he had a pretty good overall, race last week, and obviously coming home in the second position kind of, oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. My window opened up in the wrong page, in the wrong screen there.
There you go. Professional broadcasting.
Yeah, it happens. I don't know why. Every single time I open it, it's now just, it wants to specifically open to that screen.
As Thwaites right on the back bumper of Alan Hilton. Now Thwaites, his best lap is a 1:15.99. Hilton's a 1:15.93. However, the last 3 or 4 laps, Thwaites has been consistently a couple of tenths of a second quicker than Alan Hilton. Mike Rominger just put his fastest lap of the race down to 1:16.05 and just caught this pair by a half a second that last time around. So the 12 of Thwaites is going to need to get on with the show here, because that too is holding him up, at least compared to the 9 of Rominger.
Well, Alan Hilton's going to fight as hard as he can. He really does need to get up there and gain as many, and then maintain this, because he was 5 points out of that cutoff line coming into tonight's race. And the guy he was battling is John Sterling, and John is currently in the 5th position. Jordan McGraw, who's also currently he is 6 points ahead of him. He's ahead of him on track. I mean, Alan Hilton's got a tough one, to really be able to track these guys down. Jeremy Clifton as well is in front of him. So top 10 is not going to be enough for Alan. He's got Michael Thwaites right now all over his back bumper. Michael Thwaites was tied with Bryce Senizak for 3rd going into tonight's race. So there's got quite a few battles on track, that really are going to matter after tonight's race from the cutoff.
It's a great run going through the S's. Can't quite do anything going into the chicane. It was doing that all last night too, calling the chicane a hairpin. As Thwaites,
You see run wide there.
yeah, he's safe, tied for third in points coming into tonight, and his Angel just ran down. Hilton's not as safe, coming in 10 points, 5 points out in the 10th spot. The cutoff is 8th.
Yeah, Thwaites had about a 12-point lead over that mark, so he should be all right. Of course, you do have enough trucks on track that could not be, that could not work out that way. But I think overall he should be just fine. He's going to back off Alan Hilton here for a little bit, maybe. It's only lap 10 of 45, or sorry, lap 9 of 45. So you still got a little ways to go. As Bryce Senesac is starting to close in here. I'm sorry, John Sterling is starting to close in on Bryce Senesac for that 4th position.
Now, Senesac and Morris are teammates, and I think Senesac might be playing a little bit of a team game because Morris is on the outside looking in as far as the next round of the playoffs is concerned. So Senesac might be playing a little bit of rear gunner for Ed Morris, trying to make sure Ed makes it in. But John Sterling, however, is not going to play to that script. He's going to try to get every position that he can, because while he is in, he's one of those guys that's fairly close. He is the cutoff.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't have said it better. He is specifically the cutoff right now, and so it's going to be close. I mean, Ed Morris has got to gain a lot of, he needs to gain 10 points to be able to surpass John Sterling, 11 if he becomes Jordan McGraw. So, I mean, Ed's got a tall task in front of him if he can't go out there and win this race.
Not missing anything up at the front of the field. Nicholas Roman currently hanging on to a 3.8 second lead over James Holzer. Holzer has a further 6.25 seconds over Ed Morris, so the top two are well and truly in a race of their own. Ed Morris now starting to run away a little bit from Bryce Senesac. That gap was as close as a half a second. It's now 1.6 seconds between third and fourth, as Senesac now starting to look more in the rearview mirror at Sterling than he is looking out front to Ed Morris. And also, let's not disparage here, Jordan McGraw also hanging around. Dave Elliott there as well. Elliott, the highest of the non-playoff runners, running in 7th.
Yeah, he's having a pretty good race today. You see him just sliding up to their turn. That's got to be one of my worst turns, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what it is about that turn. I can never get it figured out. But looking pretty clean there for Elliott so far, up 2 positions from his original starting spot. Christian DeBauer, actually, that last time around had his fastest lap of the day. So you see these guys slowly improving as the night goes on. Just means that they're starting to take a little bit more risk out there little by little. You did mention, though, McGraw, he was actually quicker than Bryce Senesac the last time around. I didn't even notice John Sterling got past Bryce Senesac there.
Sterling did. I believe that's going into turn 1.
We'll jump back to it here.
Yep, Senesac running wide.
Oh, very wide. John Sterling, easy. Just jump right through and make that pass.
As
John Sterling got a ways to go. I mean, John is going to be pretty solid right here. He doesn't even have to push it to pass Ed Morris. Ed Morris is not in where he's at right now. It's a 10-point difference going into tonight's race. He's only 1 position behind them. So, for John, there's no need to push it. Just, race your race. Race the racetrack, like Mark Martin would always say. Race the racetrack first, then focus on the rest of it. And then I think you'll be just fine.
absolutely is just about. We're 11 laps through here at Watkins Glen. Looking further to the back, Michael Thwaites has still not gotten around Alan Hilton, but he's looking to do so right now as we head through the final corner. A little bit of a slide there from Thwaites. Hilton still able to keep the position, but going into turn 1, it's going to be pretty difficult to do. And Thwaites is now finally through into the 10th spot.
Yeah, Hilton, as he gets a little bit loose off that first turn as well.
Both
Yeah, Hilton just had no choices to let him right on by there. It's going to be, trying to race him too hard for that moment in time is just not going to be a good idea. Just hold on to it. and hope for the best here in the next couple laps. Gather yourself and see what you can do.
Can't rest too much as he's got Mike Rominger right behind him in that number 9. Mike Franklin has not had the most success here tonight, currently running in the 13th position. Rob Griffin has been on and off pit road in that number 36. And the reason why is because of an off track on lap number 9. Going through the penultimate corner, just too much gas going through the corner. Runs wide, and then from there not only gets lapped but decides to take it down pit road.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and jump over to that. I was able to just be able to find it here. See, I'm telling you, what happened to him there is what happens to me all the time. I'm just terrible on that one turn. Oh, he had the leaders coming by him.
Yep, back up your braking point. That's all you got to do. Alan Hilton still trying to hold off Mike Rominger. That is the closest battle on the track. Next closest battle would be between John Sterling and Bryce Senizak. That would be for 4th.
If you don't mind, let's go ahead and jump on board here with Mike Rominger. It's one of my favorite things to do at the time. As you see, he's looking high here.
Trying to get a move done coming out of turn 4 up to the top.
Did they extend these rumble strips here?
They did a little bit. Now, it doesn't take a keen eye to see how much grass and gravel they got rid of around this racetrack. If this is your first exposure to the new Watkins Glen, you can see a lot of the sand and gravel traps, and the grass is gone. Especially in the penultimate corners. You got the first turn. You've got through the chicane. The color of the rumble strips are
different as well, yeah.
Yep, they are different. I think they have extended them, and they've made them a little bit flatter on entry. This will take a look if you want to jump on board with John Sterling.
All right.
They've made them a little bit flatter.
Oh yeah.
Through the hairpin.
Here in the carousel actually looks a little bit shorter. Looks like they shortened it a little bit in the carousel there. That was a little wider before.
Again, this was a rescan that was done late last year. Holzer into pit road. So Holzer, the first of the leaders to pit, and he's breaking this race up effectively into thirds.
Yep, does look that way, and here
Bryce
comes
Senizak in as well. David Elliott in.
Last thing you want to do is speed, so you want to be careful coming on the pit lane here. Don't speed. Don't miss your pit box. Looks like Holzer had a pretty clean stop into his.
They have raised the pit road speed limit around here. It used to be 35 miles an hour. It's now up to 40.
Every miles per hour counts. You see James
Absolutely.
Holzer off pit lane already.
Michael Thwaites in the 12 has come in as well on this lap.
Here comes that battle of Alan Hilton and Mike Rominger. They're still going at it here now for the 8th position as they got around a couple of cars that were on pit lane.
Through the final corner here is Nicholas Vroman. We'll see if he comes into pit road. And it looks like he will hold it to the inside curb, and he will come down pit road.
That was a great job coming to pit road. It didn't even look like for a moment with the speed he was carrying, he was going to come down pit road. But great job, great breaking point right there for Roman, your leader. We'll have to see if anybody stays out. Ed Morris looks like he's going to stay out. He might try to go out there and lead a lap. He's got to get every point he can right now.
He didn't get that lap led that time by. If he stays out another lap, he could. Ed Morris did find something out running that ARCA race last night as the rear tires did not wear after 20 laps at the Charlotte Roval. He had his rear tires at 91 and 89 as far as wear percentage, and was saying that if he knew that was going to be the case, he wouldn't have taken tires at all during the race last night. I wonder if he could try to deploy that same strategy here tonight, if not on the first stop, definitely on the second.
Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, him and the 95 of Roman, yeah, they're both from Primetime Motorsports. So
Sharing
Roman
data?
is, yeah, he could absolutely share that data. Why not? I mean, help out a teammate that's in need right there. I mean, now you do have a couple other teammates that are probably, you see McGraw off track there a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's a solid idea. Maybe share some of that information, see if you can help him out. Hey, this is the tire wear. What do you want to do here? He is going to stay out this lap just to make sure that he is able to lead a lap at the very least. So Ed Morris becomes only your second driver today to lead a lap.
Jeremy Clifton trying to play the Sergio Perez role, holding up Nicholas Vroman for James Holzer. Holzer now, by virtue of his pit stop and being out on pit road, being out off of pit road a lap earlier than Vroman, has closed that gap. What was 3 seconds is now a half a second between the 99 and the 95.
That's going to lead me to believe that these tires maybe mean more than we think, and which means Ed Morris is going to have to take tires here.
It usually happens with road course racing, especially, is the earlier you come in, the better off you are as far as trying to gain some time.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, Holzer technically came in a lap early if you're dividing it into 3. I mean, of course, he can just extend it 1 or 2 laps over the next 2 runs. So I think that may be surprised Vroman to know that Holzer came in just a lap or 2 early.
John Sterling might do what Ed Morris did, as Morris is going to come down pit road this time. We'll see what Sterling does. Sterling will definitely get a lap led here on this lap as he now takes the lead. So now not only does Morris have the bonus point for leading a lap, so does Sterling. And again, with Sterling being the cutoff point, that is absolutely massive for that number 3.
And really going to hurt this number 7 here.
In the middle of the pit cycle right now, of the leaders in the top 5, only John Sterling and Jordan McGraw have not come into pit road. Alan Hilton comes in, Mike Rominger closely following. Christian DeBoer, Jeremy Clifton, and Mike Franklin have yet to come into pit road, as well as Sterling and McGraw.
James
Morris.
Holzer. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, Morris lost big to Vroman and Holzer. Vroman now 20 seconds up the road from Ed Morris. So those couple of laps extra that he stayed out really hurt that 7. Morris also didn't have the greatest pit road entry. Did look very slow on that pit entry, and he did take 4 tires, judging by the pit time, 14.42 seconds.
Yep, I will say that. We'll have to see what these lap times look like for our leaders here. I mean, you see Roman slowly pulling away. Holzer did have his fastest lap that last time around, so we'll have to see if he's got anything this time around here for Roman. But no, yes, Holzer was again his fastest there. You see Mike Franklin looks like he had an issue here on track. Let's jump over to what happened for him. Coming down here into the bus stop. Very high speed turn right here. Oh, just overcooked it.
A little
Great
too much
job.
rear brake.
Great job
Too
holding
much
that
rear
truck
brake
down
there.
though.
Yep, absolutely. So while James Holzer sets personal bests, Nicholas Vroman still the only driver to go sub 1 minute 13 here tonight.
Well, you definitely got to give it to Holzer. He's doing something different, and he is putting down the fastest laps that he is currently capable of doing. So Holzer's not giving up here. And actually, this time around, he was about a second the last time they came around to the line. We'll have to see what it is here, but he's gained about 2, almost 3 tenths here in this lap.
And while Holzer's putting down personal best after personal best, unfortunately, at least these last couple laps, Vroman has been quicker than him. This time, however, it's the other way around, as Vroman had a mare of a lap. He went from doing a 1:13.11 last time to a 1:13.81 this time.
Man, did you see how loose that truck was for James Holzer coming into turn 1? He's got that brake bias dialed back, but it helps so much. It really does help get this car set into the turns because you can really brake later, and it allows you to, the later you can brake, the more time you're spent at a higher speed. I mean, it's simple as that. And Ed Morris had his fastest lap of the day just now as well.
Allows you to swing that back end around a little bit as well. As Roman caught that 36 of Rob Griffin at the worst possible time, and that brings James Holzer right up to the back bumper of that number 95. There's a battle for third on track here between these two.
Yeah, Rob Griffin did nothing wrong there. He did exactly what he had to do, stayed out of the way, gave plenty of room, but it's just sometimes it's simply bad timing. Exactly, and that was exactly what Holzer wanted to do. You did mention it's a battle for third. John Sterling and Jordan McGraw have not come in yet. I'm thinking these guys are going to try to make this a two-stop race.
Or one stop.
Or one stop, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Divided into two, make it a one-stop race. Oh, it's no, it's not Monday anymore. I can't even get my days right. Can't get times or nothing right.
Well, you know what we'll do? We'll take a quick break. We'll let you look at your calendar and let you figure it out.
Sounds good. I can use that.
Working lap 21 here from Watkins Glen. John Sterling currently leads. He has not come into pit just yet here from Watkins Glen. It is round 2 of the playoffs, round 12 of the season. We'll be right back to Watkins Glen in just a moment.
RICMOTECH high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, RICMOTECH has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
Working lap number 23 here from Watkins Glen International, as Nicholas Vroman and James Holzer have caught up to the back of the 3 and the 34 on merit as those two come into pit. Now Vroman and Holzer battling for the race lead as Sterling and McGraw come into pit at the halfway point. That leaves the 56 of Christian DeBoer, the only driver that has not come into pit, and that, after he does, will officially end the first cycle of pit stops as DeBoer comes in now.
I gotta say, I will give my hat off, oh my goodness, but however you say that, I can't, I'm just out of words. Tip my hat, there you go, sorry. To James Holzer today, we saw Roman get off to such a big lead early, and you thought maybe, even after this pit cycle, could Holzer hang on? But man, Holzer is just driving the wheels off of this 99 truck right now, trying to keep up with Roman, and he's doing a fantastic job keeping him in tow, because at any moment that Roman slips up here, Holzer will be there to capitalize.
And Holzer regained all of that time on the pit cycle, coming in on lap 14 to Vroman coming in on lap 15. Was 3 seconds coming in, it was 3 seconds adrift of Vroman coming into pit road, was about a half a second adrift coming out, and that gap has grown and closed as they've hit traffic and as Roman's made a couple of mistakes. But other than that, these two have been right on each other, and they've opened up quite a big gap. What was a 6 second gap between Holzer and Ed Morris prior to the pit stops has now become a 25 second gap between Holzer and Morris. So Morris quite comfortably in that third position with a teammate, Bryce Senizak, behind him, not really putting too much pressure on.
Yeah, we're really gonna have to see how some of these cycles run out here. Obviously, we'll be finding out right towards the end of this race. So, what's nice for Jordan McGraw, John Sterling, we saw Christian DeBauer do it as well, and I believe Mike Franklin, is that you're going to be going slower on track, yes, because you're going to be on older tires for longer, but you only have to come down pit lane once. So, I mean, that's, who knows? That could be the winning decision. We'll have to see. You know, we've seen it plenty of times, you know, in NASCAR where they're Watkins Glen and Sonoma, where the battle is really on pit lane and trying to get on and off and having the right strategy, because it's never the same strategy that works usually, you know, every year. It's going to switch up here and there.
Pit Road Delta here tonight from cone to cone, 4-tire stop, has been about 46.5 seconds. John Sterling currently sits 35 seconds and dropping behind Nicholas Vroman. So if he wants to come out of the pit cycle with the race lead, he is going to need to stay within 46.5 seconds of the race leader. So right now he's got 11 seconds to play with, and the more he can use those tires now, it's kind of a catch-22. The more you use the tires, the further gap you'll have, but the less tires you'll have at the end of the run.
That is very true as well. John Sterling doesn't have to go win this race, you know, and I'm not saying you have to go win it, but, you know, you surely can lose it by pushing it too hard. My insistence is, you know, you just got to race your race, keep it calm. You know, a win is fantastic, but don't lose the your championship hopes by going for a win and it not working out. We saw that happen to Jimmy Johnson, you know, battling with that win at the Charlotte Roval with Truex, if not mistaken. It was the first year of the Roval.
Yep. Just to update you, Wallace Boyce, we saw him come in at the end of lap 1 of this race. He has not returned to the racetrack. No damage or anything like that. It just appears as though he's decided to pull off and end his night. The biggest incident of the night is Chris Akers, who had a big collision with the Armco coming out of the carousel. His night done after just 4 circulations of the racetrack, and his championship hopes as well, because he was on the outside of the top 8 looking in, trying to advance to the next round. David Elliott has come down pit road in the number 4.
Yeah, so it looks like David's going to go ahead and decide to
early.
Yeah, pit a little early. You know, he saw how much time was gained in the other way, so he said, maybe if I can't try to gain some time that same way, let's try that out. Let's do something a little bit different here. Our closest battle is not our leaders, is currently Christian DeBauer and Alan Hilton, but man, your leaders are right on top of each other again, just a little further back, a 0.4 of a second difference. That last time, Holzer gained 4.5 tenths on your leader, Nicholas Roman.
And that battle we were just bringing up between Hilton and DeBoer that's the next group of cars. There's a group of 4 there. It's Hilton, DeBoer, Elliott, and Rominger. Not far behind them at all are the race leaders, as these two now are going to have some traffic to deal with, and not just traffic, but traffic racing for position. And David Elliott on fresh tires, so that could spell a little bit of trouble for these guys as DeBoer gets up and out of the way, allows his primetime teammate to go through. No playoff implications for either one of those two drivers. Well, Alan Hilton is next.
You're correct. DeBauer is he pitted. As a matter of fact, he pitted on lap 22, so he's got fresher tires than these leaders as well. So I mean, even if you're faster, you coming up on guys with fresher tires. It's really going to be hard to pass them in some scenarios. I mean, we've seen these drivers overall be very respectful. As you see, Mike Rominger pull to the low side here on the straightaway and let the leaders go by. But it's also what we saw earlier with Rob Griffin. Are you in the right spot at the right time catching these lap cars? And if you've seen James Holzer, he's just been aggressive as can be. He beat Roman by another 10th that last time around.
Big slide going through turn 1 as well and coming out. was when he finally corrected it. Only 3 drivers not on the lead lap participating in this race right now. That would be Rominger in the 9, who just got lapped, Mike Franklin in the 82, and Rob Griffin, who's had another incident that has damaged the front end of his car up pretty significantly. He is down pit road and repairing that truck right now. As boy Vroman with a big slide coming through both ends of the bus stop on the exit.
Man, that
And
was...
Holzer could smell blood in the water now.
That was shades right there of a certain battle we've seen here in 2012 between Brad Keselowski and Marcos Ambrose, sliding through the bus stop there. But we've got 18 now coming out, the 17 laps to go. Hard to believe we're more than halfway through this race, coming down to the last third of it.
It is quite amazing how quickly this race has gone.
Oh!
Now both drivers, it looked like Holzer was going to go in front and did. And then Holzer decided to bail out. I'm not sure with how much Holzer was able to gain on that first lap, if that's too wise of a move. I would have come in with Roman there.
I think that surprised Holzer. I don't think he was ready to come down pit lane, and maybe he didn't think he was going to get slowed up in time. So that could have just been Roman as a last-second decision and to try to keep James Holzer from coming down pit lane.
Roman is coming in a little bit early. He came in on lap 15. You'd figure lap 30 would be the next one. He's coming in on lap 29.
Man, this view right now we're seeing here of James Holzer on board with him as he hits some of these rumble strips in the bus stop. Just a fantastic view to see these trucks sliding through and hitting those rumble strips. You know, something that, you know, a lot of road cars... Ooh, boy, he is dirt tracking that thing off of there.
Absolutely sliding through that carousel. I would have to expect he's coming in now.
Yeah,
Is Holzer. I wouldn't be surprised if Roman came in not wanting to battle the 2 lap cars in front of him, Elliott and DeBoer, and yep, here comes Holzer.
That's actually a great idea.
Big lockup, a big slide. That could really hurt him on exit as far as overall pit time goes.
Hopefully he wasn't speeding there coming to pit lane. We'll have to see how long he spends in his pit box. Ed Morris is currently your second place driver right now. He has he's catching up to him there. He's got Nicholas Roman about 7 seconds behind him. So
Holzer now has led 2 laps in this race. Bryce Senizak comes in pit road. Ed Morris stays out to lead.
Comes John Sterling and Nicholas Roman. Roman driving down here into turn number 1 as James Holzer's coming off of his pit box. This is going to be a big difference here. Oh, got to be careful. Can't come off of the pit lane in a bad way there. It looks like he didn't have to serve a speeding penalty, but he was in his pit box for about 7/10 longer than Roman, so that's going to hurt him even more. I think Holzer did a better job on his first time around coming down.
Absolutely.
He gained a lot more time. I mean, Roman had all that time to give as well, as he is stuck all the way behind the 82. Another I clicked on the wrong person. I'm sorry. On the 3. Oh, but this is a battle for position.
Yep, and unfortunately that one-stop strategy for John Sterling will not result in a race win here, but he is certainly holding up that number 95 of Nicholas Roman. That brought Holzer back by about a second coming through the bus stop chicane and through the carousel.
As the 3.
And now Sterling comes, Sterling dives out of the way of Holzer.
Oh, man, you know, that's frustrating when you're the leader. You had to fight so hard just to get past somebody. They just go ahead and let the second place guy right on by. But at the same time, it's John Sterling's race isn't with that guy, you know. He's just trying to stake it out for the lead, you know. You never know what could happen. You could force Roman into an incident and you pull off a victory. You got to do something.
It's teammates at work there between the 3 and the 99.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Team play between GT Motorsports and Prime Time.
Well, you know, we see a lot more primetime drivers, I believe, than we see GT ones. So, you know, take advantage where you can, I guess. That's definitely not a bad opportunity. As you see, they're coming up here. Mike Franklin, he'll move out of the way in the carousel, allow leader Roman to go right on through. As James Holzer's there, the 82 has to cut off his nose a little bit. That'll hurt Holzer.
A little bit of the time that was lost Well, that was gained, pardon me, from the 3 holding up the 95 has been given back. However, Holzer leaving nothing out on the table.
Hey, man, you see Roman loose off of that last turn. He's still pushing it hard. He knows he's got a hungry Holzer right behind him. We've now got 14 laps to go.
And that's Ed Morris, the race leader, just ahead of these guys. Jeremy Clifton coming out of pit road. He's about to go a lap down. As Vroman about about a quarter of a second slower than James Holzer that last lap. So Holzer has figured something out in that number 99.
And, you know, we're
really starting to pick the pace up.
Yeah, we're coming up to more lap traffic in front of him. Ed Morris is not lap traffic. He is your current leader on older tires right now by a good deal. He'll have to come down pit lane sometime soon. But you got some lap cars right in front of him as well, Jeremy Clifton. So we'll have to see. I mean, it's going to be tough here for Roman. He's got to get through some of these faster trucks still. These guys aren't just regular old trucks, you know. But
and this is a battle for the race lead here.
it's like Ed doesn't want any part of it. He said, "I'll come down pit lane, get my last pit stop done, and stay out of the way for the battle for the lead." But James Holzer gained a ton that time. We'll have to see what he did this lap. My goodness, is that half a second?
Yep, Vroman at a 14.3, Holzer with a 13.8.
But man, right there,
on
Roman
this lap.
got to turn one fantastic through there as they're coming up here through the S's.
Now Ed Morris is going to have to watch out for Bryce Senizak. That's been the battle for third spot pretty much all race between the 7 and the 09. Morris still on pit road, just going up on the right sides now. Bryce Senizak will take that position away from Ed Morris, at least for the moment. And this is what we were talking about before. They're two primetime teammates. You know they're talking to each other. Senizak pretty safe on points. Morris on the outside looking in does that 09. Let that 7 go back around him.
I don't think he's even going to have to let him. Ed Morris is going to come out 3-lap fresher tires, 2.5 seconds behind him. Odds are Ed's probably going to catch Bryce Senizak here before the end of this one, maybe put himself into the top 5. The question is, being 20-some seconds behind John Sterling and Jordan McGraw, will that be enough? I got to say, what a great move for John Sterling and Jordan McGraw to really do something different here, be the only 2 on a different strategy. I'm sorry, 3 drivers with Christian DeBauer.
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness.
It's Holzer and Vroman for the race lead. Vroman got a little bit loose coming out of turn 1. So did Holzer, side by side through the S's.
That's a bad place to be side by side. Roman's a little bit loose.
Yeah, those are big wiggles from the 95 of Vroman.
Holzer has the preferred line for the moment. It'll then be Vroman. No, Holzer's gonna go ahead, and I don't know if Roman just outbraked them that much, or Holzer said, you know what, I don't want any part of being side by side in the bus stop.
Yeah, I think Holzer very politely said, you know what, I'll live to fight another day.
These are the 2 drivers that were banging door to door coming off of turn 4 at Atlanta, and here they are at Watkins Glen. We've still got 12 laps to go, but it's going to be the run to the checkers here, and Holzer, you got to hope. Hopefully that wasn't his only opportunity to get side by side with Roman, because he's going to regret giving it up when he did.
Now for Nicholas Vroman has only been beaten on track once since the 4th race of the season at Nashville Superspeedway. He won that race, lost that race, finished 2nd to the 99 of Holzer. Won at Dover, won at Pocono, won at Richmond, did not compete at Michigan.
Where Holzer won.
Had gotten damage and just never got the caution he needed to repair that damage at Michigan. Did not compete at Kansas. Won at the iRacing Superspeedway, the final race of the regular season, and won at Atlanta last week. So he has only been beaten on track once since round 4 of the season.
It's hard to believe that, only because of how hard James Holzer is all over his back bumper, how close it was last week. he hasn't been able to run away with these things. James Holzer, you know, he's got 4 wins on the season, and he is just all over the back bumper of Roman. He's waiting for him to make a mistake. Roman's made 1 or 2, but not enough for Holzer to get up there. See, I think Roman got through that final turn ever so slightly better than Roman. Roman got through there better than Holzer, so that'll keep him in front. As we now have got 10 laps to go.
11 checkered flags have been handed out this season. 9 of them have gone to the 2 drivers on your screen right now. 5 to Vroman, 4 to Holzer. Will Vroman get 6 or will Holzer tie him with 5? We'll find out. We'll be right back after this. You're watching round 12 action from Watkins Glen for the RICMOTECH Truck Series. We'll be back right after this.
RICMOTECH high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, RICMOTECH has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com. RICMOTECH high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
A lot of great action coming up here on ESBN. Starting tomorrow, it will be the Ghost Cup Series, and it will be round number 4 from Dover coming up tomorrow night. On Thursday night, it will be the return of the USRA's TNT Truck Series. Ooh. They will open up season number 7 from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. On Friday night, it'll be a Friday night doubleheader. The Kool-Aid Monster Motorsports Next Gen Cup Series will come at you live from Chicagoland, round number 2 of their season, as well as the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. They will be, let me just check my schedule here. They will be at Talladega in the Xfinity cars. Ooh, coming up this Friday night.
Well, I hope
but before, go ahead.
No, I'll say I hope to be done with that Chicagoland race early. That way I can watch that Circle B race. I know those things are a ton of fun to watch, especially with those Xfinity cars at Talladega.
This is the 4th or 5th season of that Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series that we've broadcasted here on this network. As a matter of fact, my first one of my first broadcasts was that league in those Xfinity cars at Talladega, and it was one of the best finishes in racing I have ever seen. But before we rehash old finishes, we need to find a new one because these two, Vroman and Holzer, have given each other absolutely nothing while we were in break.
These two drivers have been all over each other. They are just inches away constantly. You see how hard both of them are driving. It's a lot harder for James Holzer, honestly, when you're in second place, because you can really you have to change your driving style to accommodate Roman so that, you know, you're not accidentally wrecking him just trying to run your own lane. And also just that dirty air, it's not a big thing, but you got enough speed here, especially through some of these turns, that some of that dirty air can really hurt the way these trucks drive. But man, what a nice run for Holzer there off of that turn. You gotta know he's staying close, and I think we might see a bumper used if they're this close come to final lap.
And it would have to be right around here as Vroman with a big slide coming out of turn number 6 through turn 7. Back onto the front straightaway, Vroman is really slinging the back end of that number 95 around. He is feeling the pressure. Next closest battle on track. We'll go back to it here just after these guys hopefully safely get through turn 1. They do. Ed Morris and Bryce Senizak, those two are coming out of the carousel right now. As you had mentioned, Angel, Morris has closed that 2.5-second gap up to Bryce Senizak, looking quite a bit quicker. John Sterling and Jordan McGraw have not come into pit, and with those two being the bubble and just inside the bubble to make it to the next round of the playoffs, that is disaster for Ed Morris.
Yeah, that's not what Morris wanted whatsoever to see. A hard valiant effort. Oh, as you see, the 95's a little loose here in the carousel. Can the 99 get under him? No, the 99's loose. They're both a little bit off track there, just over the rumble strips, off of the carousel.
The problem is you see the guy in front of you get loose, you get a little bit too excited, and then you get loose yourself.
Oh my goodness, as they're getting ready to catch Michael Thwaites here in that number 9 spot, the 12 truck, I'm sorry.
I don't know how much closer Holzer thinks he can get to that 95. I can tell you it's not much. Here comes the dive going into turn number 1. Vroman a little bit later on the brakes.
Yeah, I think 99 peaked, hoping the 95 would maybe make a mistake in that process, but no, Vroman's gonna, stay headstrong as they went to turn 1. Going through the S's now. The S's is somewhere where I feel like Vroman is definitely a little bit faster than Holzer. He seems to pull away here. I feel like in these bigger braking points is where Holzer seems to be catching Vroman.
Now you can hold off on your run through turn 1 as, oh my goodness.
These trucks are all over the place right now. Look at them. They're using every bit of racetrack that is offered to them by iRacing at Watkins Glen, and here they are just on top of each other, lap by lap. Whoa, look at that sideways for the 99. He keeps it going.
Holzer's not going to be able to get the move going down into turn number 6 here. Got to set up for turn number 1, and you can see Vroman putting a lot of opposite lock in this truck, trying to keep it going straight, but he's not the only one that's doing it. Holzer's having to fight that thing too. Vroman giving him the outside going into turn 1, and Holzer is not going to take it.
My goodness, these two guys are just going at it here.
Now, Holzer is in a great spot here as he focused on the exit of turn 1.
He's got him.
Trying to get the run up the hill, and he's finally got him, it appears. Yes, he does. Holzer to the point.
I think Holzer was listening to me because I said that Vroman was better through the S's. And the very next lap, he goes and takes the lead in the S's.
Exit of turn 1 that did it for him.
But don't count Vroman out.
No, for the first time tonight, Vroman has been passed on the racetrack.
Oh,
and Holzer is starting to run away.
4 laps to go. We've got maybe about 3.5 laps to go, but it takes one slight mistake. Holzer did pit 1 lap later than Vroman. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make right now,
You
but
could have worn that off by now.
yeah, because the way those two trucks were slipping and sliding is... There is a battle for 8th position with Michael Thwaites and Christian DeBauer right in front of them. We'll have to see how they can get around those trucks. Michael Thwaites is actually a teammate of Vroman. We'll have to see. Vroman was very loose off of that final turn. He loses a ton of time, almost a full second, to Holzer on that lap.
I mean, in turnabout's fair play, Vroman got help with the 3 of Sterling holding up Vroman a little bit. So you have to expect, if you're Holzer, you have to expect Thwaites is gonna hold you up a little bit, especially with Vroman now not being able to keep up the pace. As Thwaites has taken that position going into the bus stop, Bryce Senizak still fighting with Ed Morris for that 5th position. Morris coming down into turn number 1, side by side are these two. Senizak on the outside, Morris on the inside. Senizak has all the room to run off. and he will hold that position as Morris gets a little loose on the inside.
Did you mention that Bryce Senesac might be a little friendly with his teammate and give him a
I did
spot?
say that.
You know, these guys
thought
don't care for what we think, do they?
Well, no, it's once you get used to being wrong, this commentary stuff becomes very easy.
That is true. Oh, here it is, DeBauer. He's a teammate of Roman as well. No, I think he just got loose off at the turn. He's going to go ahead and let Holzer go right on by. I think that was just DeBauer getting loose off of that final turn. I don't think he meant to put the block on Holzer. Luckily, he gets through. He's going to let his teammate by here. The last time around, Holzer was half a second quicker than Roman. Roman's just watching this lead just vanish. I mean, he's watching Holzer pull away here. We've got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Holzer definitely figured something out during that first run as Roman had gotten out to a lead as big as 3.2 seconds. Roman now is 2.3 seconds off of Holzer, and that's only in a couple of laps. As we come to the white flag, this time it looks to be Holzer going to get number 5 unless Michael Thwaites can help out his teammate a little bit.
Well, see, Michael Thwaites is actually putting down some pretty competitive times, but Michael only came in with a 7-point gap to that cutoff line. He's got to be careful because if you throw a block on the leader, he's going to move you, and if you wreck, oh, yeah, he's going to come right off.
Out of the way.
Get out of the way, yeah. Michael understands that, you know, Roman's got himself 5 wins this season. He's into the next round. Mike's got to make his way into the next round, you know, capping off that fantastic second-place finish last week. It is the white flag. Oh, we have a truck. Mike
82.
Franklin, yeah, he's just going to go ahead and get out of the way immediately. Doesn't even try to come back on to the racetrack. I'm telling you, the respect amongst these drivers is fantastic. Ed Morse and company have done such a great job putting together a league of drivers that have such a great amount of respect for each other. To race as hard as Holzer and Roman did for so many laps, and did they make contact once? I don't think so.
No, they did not. As Franklin just put the brakes on, pulled over, and stopped coming out of turn 2 right at the base of the S's. But we've talked just before the break that 9 of the 11 checkered flags this season have gone between the 99 and the 95. Coming through the final 2 corners, they will now be split even as Holzer makes his way through. He'd been fighting Nicholas Roman the entire race. And coming out of turn number 7, James Holzer will take victory here at Watkins Glen.
Oh, he's enjoying this victory. What a win for James Holzer. I mean, that's got to be one of the hardest earned victories I've seen all season long between these 2 drivers.
He certainly has reason to celebrate. As you're right, that was a great battle here. These first 2 races of the playoffs have really brought the heat. As John Sterling comes home and finishes 3rd, Jordan McGraw crossing the line now. Bryce Senesac and Ed Morris side by side for 5th. Coming to the line, it will just barely be Senesac.
Wow, what a fantastic finish for those teammates there. That was a blast as well.
And I'm not sure, but that might have spelled the end of Ed Morris's season as far as the championship is concerned. We know he'll be leading the points on Monday night going into the second round of the playoffs, but I think here tonight he will go no further as far as the championship is concerned.
Well, at the very least, it does give him an opportunity to focus maybe on some of those Monday night races and run for a championship there. Nonetheless, a championship is a championship, so a great job. Man, what a race. John Sterling and Jordan McGraw using that one pit stop strategy really worked out for them, coming home in 3rd and 4th there.
Started 5th and 6th and will finish 3rd and 4th. Those 2 guys were in the cutoff coming into the night.
Ooh, I think Sterling's out of gas.
He might just be. Race is over, so it really doesn't matter.
No. Well, how about this? Let's go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher. Let's see if he's out of gas.
I think we should. Angel, go for it.
Alrighty. I just gotta find him. Hold on, everybody. There he is.
Here, let me. Yep, there you go.
User was moved to your
John
channel.
Sterling, this is Angel and Frank here in the ESBN broadcast booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Good question before we go into the detail anymore. Are you out of gas?
Yep, just trying to make it back to the pits. I'm almost there.
Well, John, what a fantastic race for you. Deciding to be one of only a couple of drivers on this one pit stop strategy. Was that the goal at the start of the race, or maybe did it just kind of fall into our hands with some of these guys pitting when they did?
Well, coming into the race, our team, we didn't know if we were going to like split it up or like try to make it to one stop, but I saw that it was like on pace with Ed Morris and Bryce, and then they started to do the split up strategy, so I figured I'd try to just run it out and see what happens.
Well, seeing what happens, and you're going to bring home this number 3 truck in the third place. I'm going to assume this should put you easily into the next round. How nerve-wracking coming into this race, a track that's not typical, you know, being a road course, to decide the next playoff line, and you're sitting there on the bubble. I mean, how stressful of a situation is that, trying to manage what you decide in a race?
Oh, I normally love coming to the road courses. That's my strength, especially in these oval cars. It's just I didn't expect it to drive this differently with the new layout. And so it was definitely a learning curve during the whole race, but I started figuring out a certain pace, you know, kept the wheels on it, kept it off the wall, and it turned out it worked for a one-stop strategy.
Man, well, I mean, you did a fantastic job. Frank, do you have anything for our third place finisher here before we give an opportunity to thank his friends and sponsors?
Yeah, now we get off of the road courses. We go to Chicagoland next. What are your thoughts going to Joliet, Illinois?
California and Chicagoland, they're my two favorites on the oval circuit. I like California a little better than Chicagoland, though. I'm going to try and practice my best because I may not be here for Iowa. So Chicagoland's my only shot to keep continuing the chase if my luck continues.
Yeah, Chicagoland is a ton of fun, especially in these trucks, as is California. I think fantastic schedule to finish the playoffs. So I definitely say, you know, good luck next week, and you know, hopefully we're talking to you a couple spots better. And go ahead and think who you got to thank here.
I'd just like to thank my teammates at GT Motorsports, RICMOTECH for our sponsor, Extreme Motorsports 99. I've been with these guys for multiple seasons, and it's always been fun. I also like to thank my sponsor on the car, beatamatch.org. I run this paint scheme to pay tribute to a good iRacing friend of mine, Bryce Whitson Jr. He used to be with this league, and he unfortunately passed away of leukemia a couple years ago. And Beat a Match was one of the foundations that he truly supported, and we even ran it during some endurance races and raised a lot of money back in 2018. So, yeah, everybody go to beatamatch.org, sign up there. You can be a bone marrow and help out cancer patients.
Man, that's fantastic, John. I got to say, one of the better thankings, I guess we can call them, that we've had. So we appreciate it, and congratulations bringing home that Ford F-150 in a good spot for an old friend and an old iRacer.
All right, thank you guys.
So that was your third place finisher, John Sterling. We will now bring in our second place finisher, Nicholas Vroman. Nick, great run all race long. I'm sure it just seemed like the pressure at the end that Holzer was putting on just became a little bit too much.
Yeah, man, he's really good in the long run. I could, whatever he's doing, man. I think we were talking to him. He said he was rolling third all the way through the bus stop through the carousel, and I was downshifting. And that was I think that was burning my tires up there. But yeah, I was doing everything I could to stay in front of him. I bobbled just a little bit, and he got by, and the rest was history.
Now, we had mentioned in the middle of the race that the only time you finished second at Nashville, you had that incident, you couldn't get the caution to come out at Michigan, and you didn't make Kansas. After Nashville and minus Michigan and Kansas, you have not been beaten on track since the fourth race of the season. That is one hell of a run, and taking that into the playoffs and keeping that going, what does that take?
Just got to keep doing what we're doing, man. You know, Holzer, you know, To me, Holzer's my biggest competition, for the championship here. I know he's gonna bring it, and I just know I gotta bring it every week because if I don't, I'm not gonna win the championship. So that's what it's gonna take, and that's what I gotta do.
We had heard John bring up that this car handled a lot differently on this rescanned version of Watkins Glen. What would you say were the biggest differences in the handling between the previous scan, which we had so many years on, and this one?
To be honest, maybe it's a little looser, but other than that, it doesn't really seem that different to me, anyways. I felt like I was still hitting the same times as I would as the old scan and to this scan. So to me, it honestly didn't feel that much of a difference. Maybe just a tad bit looser.
All right, fair enough. We go to Chicagoland next week, begin the next round of the playoffs. What are your thoughts going into Chicago?
Got to win to lock yourself into the next round. That's what it really comes down to. Chicago is one of those tracks where, a lot of people are going to be good. That's a mile-and-a-half track where you're going to be wide open for a very long time. So there's going to be a lot of people on top of each other, I feel like. And, we got to qualify well, and we got to get the lead, and we got to stay in the lead, to control that momentum, to control the draft behind me.
All right. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate a second place finish?
Yeah, man. You guys up in the booth for broadcasting, admins, Morris, and I forget the other guy, but, everybody out on the track was a very good, clean racing tonight. I felt like, lap cars and stuff like that, people being very generous and, kind of realizing what's going on. My team, Primetime Motorsports, and, shout out to James, and, I don't think there's too many people who can go through side by side through the S's a couple times, on the track, and it was a blast doing it with him. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah, that was
all right.
A blast to watch.
All right, there was your second place finisher tonight, Nicholas Vroman. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, Angel, you should be with our race winner, James Holzer, right now.
James Holzer, this is Angel and Frank in the ESBN broadcast booth. You got us?
I got you.
Man, James, what a final run there. I mean, you put on one of the best shows. You and Vroman put on one of the best shows I've had the pleasure of broadcasting on a road course. What did you figure out after that first run? I mean, Vroman had a 3-second lead.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to practice a lot this week, and I was just taking it easy. He was pushing a lot more on the short run, but once I caught up to him, I kind of understood why I was a little bit better just with different gears running through different corners, and just able to roll the corner a little bit better and not light up the rear tires as much and carry the momentum. But yeah, I wanted the short pit there because I knew it was going to be coming down to even stops. If you saved, I knew it wasn't going to be enough pace. So just wanted to break that up into threes, but I figured if I short pit him one lap, I might be able to get in front of him. And I knew it was better on the long run, so I felt like I could hold with him enough. And a couple of the lap cars got out of the way, but he just kind of caught him in a bad spot. So was able to keep there. And then I was going to pit on lap 28, and then he came down. I'm like, well, I'm going to go one more just to see what happens because I don't know. I feel like if we were on the same strategy, I don't know if I could have got him, but just really executed the pit stop well. I got in there really, really hard because I wanted to gain time, actually almost sped. And
we were a little worried about that.
Yeah, me too. But I figured, oh, well, got to try it. So got in there really good and got out and realized I was only a second and a half behind. I'm like, well, I just got to keep the rear tires under me and feel like I'll catch him because it was the longest run we're going to have to make all race. And once we got there, it was tough to pass just because this track's really hard to pass at. And just the visibility with his spoiler right there, it was just really hard to set it up because you really couldn't see. Especially through the S's. I really couldn't see anything. There was a couple times I went wide just because I couldn't see. I clipped the grass the one time, got a 1X because I just couldn't see off his spoiler. And then we went through the S's the one time, and I don't know how we didn't kill each other side by side, just racing through it. And like I told him, we were talking after, I was like, yeah, I was definitely giving up because I didn't want to go through the bus stop side by side. I know we could do it because we race each other really clean, but just, I don't know, I didn't want to take both of us out. So I just kind of figured I had a little bit better long run speed. So was just trying to set him up essentially there at the end. And essentially we were able to get into turn one a lot better. And he kind of spun the tires a little bit and was just able to get there. And then we were able to get him through the S where he had the corner advantage and was able to close off there. And that was what really got it for us.
Man, Yeah, I mean that that battle, Frank and I, we just couldn't believe it. It was so dang good just to watch. I mean, and going through the S's, I mean, as you said, just side by side, and I mentioned it, and Nicholas did as well. Just the amount of respect that you two have for each other to race that way and know that you're not gonna wreck. I mean, especially at the after the fantastic finish we had last week at Atlanta. So I mean, it just keeps adding on between the two of you. You're tied up now, 5 wins apiece. You go here. I'm kind of stealing Frank's little mojo here. He usually likes to ask about the next couple races. I mean, you won at Kansas, and I always like to say Kansas and Chicagoland can be very similar in the way they drive. Does that give you that much more confidence going into Chicago next week?
Oh yeah, they do share a lot of similarities, but they also have their differences, kind of as every mile and a half does. The top line isn't as crucial, and it's not going to really fade up there, but track position is going to kind of be crucial, and it's going to kind of be about having the best tires too, because I've noticed in another league race that I did, somebody that had equal speed as me, actually Brendan Book, who races in here, we were kind of, on the same pace, and he was able to save a lap of fuel just riding behind me, and it ended up paying huge dividends at the end. So I don't know. It's just going to be about kind of playing the strategy and keeping the track position, but I know we'll put on a heck of a race, and just got to shout out Nick there for, I mean, honestly, 2 weeks in a row, just been awesome battling. I mean, just hard-nosed racing, really clean, and we were even giving each other a little bit of bumper, and it was just awesome. You really can't race too many people like that, and not too many places you can go and watch a race like that, especially 2 weeks in a row, and especially at a road course. Just hardcore battle for, honestly, that whole third run until I got past him there with about 6 to go. It was just an awesome race. I had a blast.
I could not agree more. Frank, I know I stole your mojo a little bit there. You got anything else for James?
I'm not talking to you. No, I'm good. I'm good. Anyone you want to thank, James, before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to thank you guys up in the booth as always for an awesome show, and you guys always captivate the battles, and you go all throughout the track, and I hope you got a good view of what me and Nick put on, because it was just absolute show. And shout out to him again just for awesome P2, and just it was a really hard fought win. I'm drenched in sweat. I really I gave it my all, and I was either making a mistake or passing him. It's kind of almost how I felt, but we raced each other really respectfully. Just got to thank everybody at GT Motorsports as well for being there. Everyone did pretty well. John Sterling for the awesome strategy call. He did try the cutting out a pit stop, and he ended up beating Jordan McGraw, who's also in our chat too, by about 14 seconds. So he was able to get that, and they finished P3, 4, and I believe 10th and 12th. So pretty good showing for us. As an overall, I know road course is kind of an oddball, so it's always good to have that many guys in the top 10. And then just got to thank everybody on the car. RICMOTECH for being the sponsor for the league. JP Designs for being the primary sponsor on the truck. Does all my paint schemes. Go ahead and check him out on Facebook. Scheme starting at just $5. There's some package deals as well. And then just got to thank everybody else in the truck, from Laurel Auto Group, Raise Energy, Butt Kicker, and Next Level Motorsports. And also got to thank a recent partnership with Ryco Motorsports, as we're going to be doing Road to Pro here coming up in the next couple weeks. So going to be making the run with them, and we're gonna see what we can do, and hopefully we got a good showing.
Well, I think I can speak for Frank and myself in the fact that I think it'd be exciting to see you go through that Road to Pro series, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, Nick ran with the same team last season and had a lot of success, and it's kind of what kind of propelled me to go that way. So knowing me and Nick are pretty equal talented, and he's better than me some tracks, I kind of better him at some tracks, so it should be good. And I'm just looking forward to the rest of this season over here.
Man, that's fantastic. Absolutely. You got to focus on the season ahead. We got only a few races left before we name champions this season. Thank you once again, James, for putting on a fantastic show between you and Nicholas, and we will see you next week in Chicago.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So that was your race winner, and that will wrap up the interview portion of the evening here tonight. Let me just see if the results and points are updated and ready to go for next week, so we could see. No, it doesn't appear as though they are just yet. But anyway, a great race here tonight, especially between the top two. And I know we've said it so many times here recently since I've been back. if there's if there's only one battle going on, you hope it's for the race lead. And tonight we had that pretty much from lap 15 on.
Yeah, I mean, and the only time really that Roman had that lead, we had so many fantastic battles throughout the track. We almost forgot about the leaders. So, yeah, these guys know how to put on a great show. We all know that here for the RICMOTECH High Performance Truck Series. They do a great job each and every week. We look forward to broadcasting. It's been one of the more fun leagues I've had the opportunity to broadcast, and I can't say I'm disappointed in not having joined earlier. Maybe.
A lot of great racing has gone on this season with these guys, but we'll go now to the results here. James Holzer picks up his 5th win of the season. Nicholas Vroman and John Sterling round out the podium. You just heard from those 3. Jordan McGraw and Bryce Senezek will round out the top 5. Ed Morris misses out on a top 5 finish by 3/100ths of a second. Ed Morris, Michael Thwaites, Christian DeBoer, and Jeremy Clifton round out the top 10.
In the 11th spot, you have Mike Romagert. 12th goes to Alan Hilton, Mike Franklin in 13th, and 14th was Rob Griffin. Chris Akers, an unfortunate finish, and his championship hopes are over as well today, coming home in 15th. And then Wallace Boyce will round out your field in the 16th position after having completed the first lap and pulling off then. Man, what a fantastic finish we had here. What great racing. And next we go to Chicagoland, where, man, that's going to be a ton of fun to watch as well. I didn't think we'd have so much fun here at Watkins Glen, and I just know that Chicago's going to be even that much better.
Yeah, we saw Chicagoland with that. I mean, you talk about the similarities to Kansas. We saw the great race at Kansas, and now we go back to another racetrack like that. It's going to be another super speedway half mile. But that is coming up for this series next week. Coming up for us tomorrow, the Ghost Racing Cup Series, their 4th round of their first season, will head to Dover. That will be an 8 p.m. Eastern Time start for those guys. Coming up on Thursday will be the return of the TNT Truck Series presented by the United Sim Racing Association, back for season number 7.
I'm excited
here on ESBN.
to watch that one.
They will be at Las Vegas. That'll be a 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time start coming up on Thursday. And then we have a double dip tomorrow night. It'll be the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. That will be at Talladega in the Xfinity cars this Friday, an 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time start for those guys. And then coming up on Friday night, it will be the Kool-Aid Monster Motorsports new Next Gen Cup Series. They will hold round number 2 of their season, also at Chicagoland. So for my broadcast partner, Angel Santiago, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week from the Chicagoland Speedway, and we will see you tomorrow night